Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, or hi if you're new here. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm going to be talking about the BareMinerals Barepro 16-hour foundation. I'm excited, I'm genuinely excited because this is on paper an amazing foundation for acne prone skin, oily skin, sensitive skin, skin that, you know, we are breaking out, we don't know what to do, we want to wear foundation but we don't want something that's going to contribute to our acne, or we don't know what's going on. This may be it. So let's just take a step back, calm down. My name is Kasia. I create content here online about my acne journey, pigmentation, the stresses of it, the mental toll it can take on an individual, and I also share sort of discussions about beauty standards and what is realistic and what isn't in terms of skin and just general beauty standards. I am here barefaced today. We may or may not have popped that. So I am currently in sort of a recovery stage of a flare-up that happened, and I'm continuing to just look after my skin and do the best by it. So this morning, my skin is looking pretty good. I am wearing the Eucerin Oil Control SPF because I feel like this will work well under a powder foundation. They have reformulated that SPF just in case, because the previous one did used to do pilling, it did used to pill, so anyway, let's just get into it. Previously, I have used the BareMinerals Barepro. So this is literally just a powder foundation. And now they have completely like adjusted the formulation so that you can use this wet or dry. It was not marketed, this other one wasn't marketed like that. It's a whole new formulation. This foundation is talc-free and visibly improves skin over time. So it being talc-free, just that for a powder foundation, I was like, okay, because talc can, even though this one I believe did contain talc, it can contribute to the clogging of pores. We're talking general powders have talc in them. So it being talc-free, I'm already like, yes. Then it also says that it is non-acnegenic, so it really should not contribute to your acne at all. It is non-comedogenic, so it should not clog your pores at all. It is hypoallergenic, which means it will be good for people with sensitive or, you know, they have allergies. This should be fine on your skin. It is dermatologist-tested. So I know that these kind of words can be thrown around, but I feel like this is a total new formulation. So I feel like it being dermatologist-tested is better than nothing, and someone has looked at it and it should be good for the skin. Essentially, that's how they're trying to sell it, that it will benefit your skin using this. It is sweat resistant, humidity resistant, transfer resistant, 16-hour long wear. Those kind of claims, I think a lot of foundations say similar things, so I'm not like massively impressed with it, but I'm interested because you can try it wet or dry. Today I'm going to try it dry, and then tomorrow I'm going to do it wet. I'll be using the BareMinerals brush. So this is pretty much the brush designed for this foundation. Also, side note, and I'm talking very positively about this foundation so far, it is not sponsored. No one has sent me this. I bought this and I just want to see how it sits on the skin for someone that has genuinely acne prone skin, oily. Let's see what it does. So this one does come with a powder puff, and now I'm like, do I use my brush or do I use the powder puff? So because my skin is already prepped, I'm just gonna get straight into it, and I'm a bit like nervous, I don't know why. But the reason I really love BareMinerals Barepro in general is because you can do a really nice natural finish. Like in my previous videos, I did a clean girl, like acne makeup look, and I don't mind my pigmentation showing through. I think it looks quite natural and I find it beautiful. So let's go in. I'm gonna swell it up. Okay. Immediately, it is a lot more, obviously it's a pressed powder, but I used to do this in my old one and it would not like get everywhere like that. So maybe that is why they have the pad. Let's just do a little bit here. What the hell? My brush is the tiniest bit damp because I did wash it yesterday for this video. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but honestly it's not wet at all. Okay, we're pilling a little bit. I'm shocked. Wow. Oh my god, I love it. I'm getting a little tiny bit of pilling. We have to bear in mind that's what I put on before this foundation. I'm so glad I filmed this because I did not think I'd be this impressed. I'm also still not sure if I'm overreacting. Okay, right, I'm gonna do a bit more. I'm gonna pat it in instead of swirling because it really does get dusty. Let's do some up here. I'm gonna pat it into the skin a bit. Wow. Okay, I'm loving it. I think I'm loving it. I feel like I have a bit of discoloration. I don't know what's going on. Patch here. Also, to clarify, there is no beauty filters on this camera. This is fully my skin as you would see it. But yeah, it's really powdery. I can feel that my brush is slightly damp, which I feel like it might be impacting the formulation a little, but we'll allow it, you know. I'd rather have a fresh, clean brush. Should we go over this area? I'm gonna swipe down. Ooh, I have to say, it is different. It's a different kind of foundation. Definitely different to their previous formulation. It also claims to be non-cakey, so we'll see how this sits on the skin. I'm not gonna obviously powder or do any setting sprays. I'm just gonna leave it on the skin. I did a bit much on my forehead. I feel like it looks a little muddy, and I think that might be more so to do with what I have on beneath the foundation. Zooming all the way out, guys, the coverage is there almost instantly. The thing I've noticed is a little bit of sort of, I don't know what to call it. I feel like some areas it is just clinging to. It doesn't look cakey. Is the camera kind of picking up some of this blotchiness? I feel like that might be because my brush was a tiny bit damp and it's therefore not as even. The fallout is real though. That's because I'm also pilling, so that is like the skin or the product or whatever coming off down here. Like this is all the powder on my trousers. So it feels very light and comfortable on the skin, similar to how the BareMinerals Pro was before. I would just say it has given more of a flawless, I don't want to say that because I'm pretty sure the coverage is similar, but for me personally, this just looks a bit more flawless. It's looking really good. So I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup. I'm just gonna go for like a natural look, and then we're gonna focus on the powder foundation. So I'm not gonna put any other powder on, any other concealer. I'm just gonna do blush, eyes, lips. By the way, the coverage from just the foundation for this spot is good because this spot was like blood red. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take the powder puff and just like touch up. Let's see if we can. So yeah, if I was to go back and reuse this, I will probably use the pad rather than the brush. The brush just creates a lot of mess and it didn't help that my brush is still slightly damp, but I think that would be really nice with just the powder. So whilst we're dead on the dot, 10:30 a.m, we're gonna wear this for several hours and see how it wears. I'm not gonna touch up or anything. I'm just gonna check in with you guys and see how it looks. And then tomorrow we will do the wet and we can really compare the skin. So this is the finished makeup look. You can see that my skin looks quite matte, but I was prepared for the oils to seep through, and within 3.5 hours, it was definitely seeping through. So this is 2 p.m, 3.5 hours wear. I was definitely getting that shininess around the corners of my nose, the forehead, my cheeks mainly, and a little on my chin, but nothing major. So I was prepared for it to get a lot more oily. So I would say this foundation is not fully mattifying. I definitely can see a difference with one that is, so I'll mention that and I'll put it in another video. After 10 hours wear, I would say though, it wasn't like a drastic difference between the almost 4 hours wear and the 10 hours wear. It's just that the 10 hours without blotting or powdering or any touch-ups was definitely just a lot more across the whole face and was very, very shiny. So overall, I think it's pretty decent, but blotting and powdering is still needed. Morning. It is now the next day and I'm just gonna get straight on with my makeup so I don't have to talk because it is quite early and I've got plans today. So I'm gonna be wearing this makeup for probably more than 10 hours, but we'll check in and we're gonna do it wet. Also, side note, oil control again, but you guys can still see that my skin already has the dewiness to it, and that's because I'm using very hydrating products. For my acne, I'm using the Dappling, which really dries out the skin. So I kind of counteract that by using very hydrating, moisturizing products, and that is why I've got the sheen, and that's probably what also was making me look more oily or greasy yesterday, but I do still also have oily skin, so it's a mix of the two. Onto the face.
So today I tried it wet and I used the puff, but instantly I was like, what is this? I wasn't sure whether I should swipe it on, pat it, or sort of dab it and blend. I don't know. So I went with this sort of swiping motion, but I kind of knew I was going to pill. So the pilling definitely comes from my SPF beneath, but also I don't know if I just had a serum or a different SPF, this would still happen. But you know, it's part of the game. I don't really know what to say, but I did really like this finish. So this alone could look like you have no makeup on. If you just do want to really even out your complexion and you're not looking for coverage, then I really liked it. Also, it sort of did this to the pan, and I wasn't sure because there are no directions on how to use it wet. So Bare Minerals do specify that you can use it wet or dry, but is it like soaking wet, or is it just get something damp? You can see that it's starting to do this sort of pilling on my forehead. That is definitely not fun. You can really see it. And I didn't really enjoy the application process. I'm not gonna lie. Applying it wet, I just found it hard to blend, and it was just clinging to patches, a lot of pilling coming down to my jawline. And then I'm worried about my SPF, like, is it still protecting my skin as much as it should? So yeah, this is how I was applying it. I was just dabbing it on and then hoping for the best, basically swiping it across my face. I tried tapping it in as well, but I just wasn't getting as much coverage as I wanted. Like it wasn't blending as well, is what I should say. When I was patting, it wasn't really blending it in. It was just kind of sitting there. So I preferred the swiping to help get it into the skin. So here you can really see the coverage as I swipe down. I personally preferred it dry, so I don't think I'll be using this wet. Maybe I could try with a brush and it being wet, but yeah, it just wasn't a really pleasant experience applying the foundation wet and puffy. But here's the finished look. It looks pretty much the same as the dry. I don't see anything drastic difference, just showing you in different lighting here. I would say it's pretty much the same finish.
So I have finished my makeup for today. I've gone for a bit more than yesterday, and I did cheat a little because I did a tiny bit of a liquid concealer under the eyes, just because this was more of a makeup look and I didn't want it to feel unbalanced. But I didn't do any additional concealer on like my spots or my whole face where the foundation is sitting. Right now I'm quite comfortable with it. It feels quite matte, other than my forehead perhaps, but I know I would want to powder throughout the day. I guess we'll see how it wears. The foundation is still pilling, and I do think that's because of the SPF I have beneath and all the serums, but personally I can move past it because it's not terrible. It's not applying patchy or anything like that. But also, actually, the foundation has ended up getting like this because of the wet sponge I use. So I use more than just damp. I really soak that sponge. But I thought because of the reformulation this wouldn't happen. But anyway, I'm going to wear this for a good 10 hours again. I will check in at some point, and then I'll check in at the end of the day and see how my skin is looking. Bye guys.
Here I was literally on the bus, out and about. I will put how long it had been because I really don't know, but my makeup was literally just sliding off my face. I was sweating. I ended up powdering and blotting. So yeah, when I got back, my skin had been like touched up kind of thing, but you can still see the shine on the cheeks, on the nose, on the forehead, a bit on the chin. Here's a close up, and that is with powdering as well. So guys, I kind of forgot to film an actual outro. I just wanted to say, in the whole grand scheme of things, I really did like the foundation dry. I don't like the pilling, it's not fun, but I know that does come with some powder foundation, so it's kind of something I've been working on, and maybe it's the underlaying products or just finding the right routine to go with your makeup. So overall, I thought this was a good foundation. It wasn't super mattifying, unlike the Maybelline foundation, but we have to bear in mind that for acne prone oily skin, this is non-acnegenic, it's non-comedogenic, has all these things on paper, so I'm kind of balancing that out, whereas the Maybelline one has clay in it, which helps, and it really is super mattifying, but there are no claims of it not being, you know, pore clogging or acne causing. So it's kind of like a catch-22 of what do I want to prioritize. But if I'm going to an event or something and I really don't want any shine, then I would much rather choose a very mattifying foundation, which this isn't. This is kind of like the skin as it is, and you might get that natural glow and oil coming through. So if you are a real oily gal, be prepared to have to blot still and touch up. But overall, it was not bad and I did enjoy it. Anyway, to save me rambling, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will leave you with this video if you want to check it out. Bye!